Drum Major Force gives the command, and the mass bands move off to the traditional slow troop, the Huguenots by Meyerbeer. March, Nijmegen, is by the Director of Music, Grenadier Guards Major Kimberley, named after one of the regiment's battle honors, won in 1944, when Grenadiers were in the first tank to cross the bridge over the Rhine at Nijmegen. Sergeant Raymond Davis joined the Army aged 15 in 1963. Tomorrow is his 35th birthday, and he marches now from the march bands to his position to the right of the escort. And when the bands have stopped playing, he will beat the drummer's call, which is a signal for the officers to take post. Sergeant Davis returns to the mass bands, and the subaltern, now by tradition, takes command of the escort to collect the colour. Field officer gives the command of the escort to shoulder arms. Stand the remainder of the parade at ease. And now the second captain of the Queen's Company, the Captain Jeremy Wills. The Queen's Company are finding the escort for the colour, as it's called at this stage, stands in front of the escort. And immediately behind him is Lieutenant Greville Bibby, 21, the ensign for the escort, wearing the white colour belt.
Escort! Hold the colour! Fly! The left! Forward!
Lieutenant Bibby gives the... Captain Wills, rather, gives the command. Lieutenant Bibby, the ensign, walks behind him. The escort move off to the British Grenadiers, the traditional march of the right flank companies. Now they change direction with a left form, and when they've completed this, they will mark time until the left guide signals to Captain Wills that the mass bands have moved clear. Escort for the colour moves forward, and now as Captain Wills crosses the roadway, he looks for the marker stone 15 paces from the colour party, where he will halt the escort. The escort once again dresses in open order. The mass band's about turn, and the rest of the parade will be called to attention to witness the handing over of the colour, a solemn moment in the parade. The remainder of the parade has shouldered arms. Regimental Sergeant Major Stanley Holford, 37, born in Kent, 22 years of the 1st Battalion, draws his sword, a unique occasion in the career of a warrant officer.
Sergeant Holford's sword drill must be impeccable. The Sergeant Major of a battalion is responsible to the adjutant that all officers' sword drill is of the highest standard.
So, Sergeant Major Holford oversees now the handing over the colour, takes it from Sergeant Chimes, and will hand it to the ensign. The ensign has halted 9 paces from the colour party. He will now sheath his sword, having saluted the colour. And when he has received the colour from Sergeant Major Holford, he will turn about to show the colour to what has now become the escort to the colour.
Escort to the colour. Prepare! Fight!
Bibby, the Regimental Sergeant Major, and the colour party now take their places in the escort. Sergeant Chimes and the Sergeant Major halting together at the rear.
Escort to the colour. By the center.
Captain Wills now brings the escort into a position to begin trooping the colour through the ranks. And meanwhile, the 360 musicians in the band perform their amazing spin wheel.
The spin wheel in process at the present moment is always said that it's not laid down in any manual or ceremonial. The Garrison Major, London District, has a big hand in drilling the bands. This he does on the square in barracks. First by turning half the band round and doing a left incline. It gives some idea of where the bandsmen have got to go to. There's always a strong nucleus of musicians who have done this movement, and the very, very new bandsmen very, very quickly pick it up without getting lost.
The slow march escort to the colour cuts out so that the 7 other guards can present arms. Before the colour of the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards is trooped through the ranks to the traditional Grenadiers slow march. of trooping the colour through the ranks is older than the army itself. From time immemorial, the leaders of men in battle had devices to which their followers rallied. When armies, then regiments and companies were formed, each had a distinguishing flag. Since 1700, the custom has evolved of battalions having colours as a rallying point in the dust and smoke of battle. At night they were lodged in the billet, which became the unit's headquarters, and were hung from a window at a doorway. And in the morning, they were escorted to their place in the ranks. In strange surroundings, the colours had to be familiar to all, and in time they came to be revered as consecrated symbols of the ongoing spirit and pride of a regiment, handed on from one generation to another.
Attention must be paid by the escort at this stage. To be able to get back into their original position, they must keep closed up and covered off so they can advance, present arms without having to do a dressing. This is done to keep the parade flowing, to keep the pot on the boil, as it were.
So, the colour presented by Her Majesty the Queen in the gardens of Buckingham Palace on the 3rd of May 1978 has been trooped through the ranks and now arrives back in its original position as the escort marches through number 2 guard. Of the escort has returned to the captain of the escort, Major Webb Carter. The guards have now shouldered arms, and then the officers take post. The colour moves through the middle of the ranks, takes its position in the rear.
The adjutant of the parade rides down behind 6, 7, 8 guards to the re-entry angle so that he can cover off the guides who have turned and recovered their arms, and he will give the command a steady.
the adjutant brigade waiting, Major Tedder, joined the Grenadiers 25 years ago. This horse is march past. Bay gelding, 13 years old. And nearest to us, the Major of the parade, Major Stevens, Welsh Guards, second in charge, in command of the Guards depot.
Six, 7 and 8 guards do a different movement to the remainder. If they form back into column of guards, they would lose a column distance.
And so the march past in slow time begins. The slow march is Duke of York. Colour is honoured by those in the stands, and at the front of the parade now, the field officer and brigade waiting, Colonel Andrew Duncan, the Lieutenant Colonel commanding the Grenadier Guards, has taken his place in front of the Major of the parade. The field officer on bugle boy, a veteran of 22 years, Bay gelding. The band wheels into position in the center of the parade ground to play the regimental slow and quick marches as the guards march past. of the escort for the march past in slow time. The escort having changed direction but not formation with a left form. By handle, the Grenadier Guards slow march, and the colour is lowered. The Queen's colour of the 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards, 3 feet 9 inches flying and 3 feet deep on the pike. Crimson with the Imperial crown and a fired grenade with 17 points. The symbol of the name Grenadiers given to the 1st Regiment of Foot Guards after the Battle of Waterloo in honour of their defeat of the Grenadiers of the French Imperial Army. Only 44 of the regiment's 76 honorary distinctions and battle honors are carried upon it. March of the Scots Guards, the garb of old Gaul, as the 2nd Battalion Scots Guards march past. The slow march of the Welsh Guards, men of Harlem, as the 1st Battalion Welsh Guards now past their Colonel-in-Chief. Her Majesty the Queen is, of course, Colonel-in-Chief of all the Foot Guard regiments, and indeed all the regiments of the Household Division. The slow march of the Coldstream Guards as the